Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tony Mo for PlanetDestiny. Let's talk Mayhem Clash. I'm going to be giving you guys my impressions of the mode, as well as throwing a few tips and tricks your way, and generally letting you know why this is a mode you should be playing whenever it is available in the Crucible playlist. Honestly, I've had so much fun with Mayhem Clash over the last several days that I really hope it sticks around in the playlist a little bit longer, or at least comes back a lot more often. It's been a nice mode to just kind of jump into and relax a little bit of a break from the more hardcore standard experience that the Crucible is. Now, we did actually get the opportunity to play Mayhem Clash before the launch of The Taken King. If you guys remember, Shaxx came to the tower with his Crucible preview, and we had the opportunity to give it a go then. But it was a very different beast back then. In fact, I would say it wasn't much of a beast at all. It was more like a soft, fluffy kitten that you really wanted to pet, because none of us had our brand new subclass supers. There were no Sunbreakers, there were no Stormcallers, and there were no Night Stalkers. Now, Mayhem Clash is very much like having a wrestling match with your best friends, except they all happen to be tigers, and you're a tiger too. It's that kind of fun. And that's really the thing that I want to go ahead and highlight first and foremost with Mayhem Clash. This is a game mode about enjoying yourself. Step back a little bit, don't play so seriously and conservative, and just have fun. Enjoy the chaos and become part of the mayhem. Special weapon ammo as well as heavy weapon ammo also spawns more rapidly, and there's an opportunity to generate orbs for your teammate. Put that all together and you have a mode that is just about causing destruction and chaos as quickly and as often as you possibly can. So I think it's important when playing this mode to make sure that you have that mentality. You don't really want to play this too safe. If you're a conservative player, try and take the gloves off and just have a good time, you know? Go into situations you wouldn't otherwise go into, knowing that you have the power of your super right behind you. You're going to be able to get your super a bunch in this mode, and I strongly advise that you do not hold out on taking your super and activating it. And there's a lot of smaller reasons that Mayhem Clash is enjoyable, apart from the, one big power fantasy, everyone just running around nuking each other. It's actually a game mode that I found delivered really close and tight matches. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that no matter how poor you're doing, you still have the opportunity to have your super, a half a dozen times throughout the course of one match. So it always felt like the matches were really, really close, within 10,000 points, which isn't a lot considering each kill is worth 1,000 points in Mayhem Clash. It just felt like we were always walking a very fine line between who was winning and losing, and that either of the teams could have came back at any time and claimed victory. That's a really great feeling, coming from the standard Crucible, where more often than not you have to be match made with another group because you either just dominated the other team or the other team dominated you. It was nice to play match after match with no mercy rulings and just always feel like things were right on the edge of victory for either team. That was a great feeling, and it was nice to kind of turn my attention away from the scoring system and just see how many kills I could get while airborne with my Sunbreaker. Now, in terms of the supers that I was seeing in Mayhem Clash, there was a pretty good variety. I was actually pleasantly surprised to see the Night Stalker being so effective because of its ability to generate orbs for everyone. If you heard that sort of, crisp, shocky wave sound of somebody's bow being fired, run to that area immediately because there's probably some orbs to be picked up, slinging some lightning, or maybe even pulling out your golden gun in the case of the Hunter. Speaking of the Golden Gun, that was actually a subclass that I saw being very effective in Mayhem Clash. It was great at shutting down other people's supers, and I felt like for the first time ever, the Gunslinger actually felt like a gunslinger, walking into a room, pulling out its Golden Gun, and wiping out 3 enemies before they even got to make use of their super. That has to be a really satisfying feeling for those of you gunslingers out there to finally be like, seriously, big time shutting people down. Now, I know the Gunslinger's always done that in Crucible, but there are so many more opportunities to make that happen in Mayhem Clash. And again, I think that highlights an important part of the mode, which is the opportunity to really put your super to the test. Regardless of what super you're using, regardless of what class, Mayhem Clash is a great sandbox test bed to really mess around with your super and get comfortable with it. If you're a new player, maybe just coming to Destiny this holiday, I think this is a great mode to head to once you've unlocked all 3 of your subclasses and their supers, to have fun, learn a little bit more about how your super functions, and get more comfortable with it, especially when it comes to dealing with other Guardians that have their super out. I could easily see this mode providing benefits for those of us who play in the standard Crucible, just having this rapid test bed to really learn the ups and downs of our super and how effective and ineffective our supers can be in certain situations. Now, in terms of tips and tricks, there are a few things that I've learned in my time with Mayhem Crucible. Probably the biggest one is to be patiently aggressive. I know that sounds ridiculous to say, but honestly, be patiently aggressive. You don't want to sit back all day long. Tighter maps like the Cauldron, for example, and it's filled with fire and brimstone and electricity and void damage, you probably don't want to run through that, whether you have your super activated or not. Flank the enemy just like you would in a standard Crucible match, and you will be greatly rewarded for it. There's nothing more satisfying than avoiding the cluster that everyone is creating in one hallway, running around through a different hallway, just to come behind them, pop a super, and get 5 kills. That feels really great. Flanking, map knowledge is still rewarded in Mayhem Clash despite the chaos. But I would say focus on more of the attack-based subclasses. While you could go ahead and use a Defender and Titan, I think that defeats the purpose of having a good time in Mayhem Clash. Make use of more of the offensive subclasses. Use your Gunslinger, use your, your Void damage, use your Stormcaller, and do anything you can to make sure that you're constantly putting damage on the enemy before they can put damage on you. Overall, Mayhem Clash is a great mode and a great sort of relaxation tool for us Crucible players here in Destiny. I'm happy to have it in the game. It's a great combination with the new supers, and I cannot recommend it enough. Give it a go, have a lot of fun with it, and maybe even take in that weird esoteric exotic that you have that doesn't really have any other use anywhere else, because you probably won't be firing your guns that often, and when you do, it's quite a bit of fun to 5-shot somebody with the chaperone. If you guys have any experiences or opinions you'd like to give us regarding your time with Mayhem Clash, let me know whether or not this is a mode you guys would like to see stick around in the Crucible in the future. Let me know down in the comment section below. Of course, for more awesome Destiny content, be sure to stay tuned right here to Planet Destiny. If you're interested in checking out my personal channel, you can hit the link in the description below. And as always, stay safe out there, Guardians.